KCOU HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is, how would we say? It's a summer Monday. It's hot. Could be a little rain every once in a while in our area, but not likely before tomorrow. We got a lot going. First of all, let me thank all the folks that came out on Saturday to our football night in Nashville promotion. We had a great crowd. We'll prove it to you here in, a matter of moments, show you a little bit of a picture of what it looked like. I'm stalling around because I should have sent this to Billy earlier, but I didn't. So let's see if Billy gets this. Anyway, we had a really good crowd, packed house.
Yeah, that was a good crowd, and I'll pull up that picture here in just a second.
Anyway, good crowd. I'll send it to you here in a minute or so. Let's go to Murfreesboro first and say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, did you watch the Titans preseason game?
I did. I watched all I could stomach, and then I had to cut it. But you know, my daughter left yesterday, so it was kind of a weird weekend, kind of a hard weekend for mom and dad. She went to Belgium. She got there at midnight last night, which is 7 o'clock their time in the morning. So that's tough, man, when you watch your child that you've had here and now you're not going to see her for 4 months. Hopefully we get to FaceTime a bunch, but it's different.
I bet it is.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Who shed more of the tears, mom or dad?
Mom was shedding, but dad was shedding too, man. I was, you just like, I don't know. I took my wife over there when we first got married too, and we only stayed for 3 months. They're staying for 10 months, but it's just, it's a weird deal because, you know, my son's playing football, so we won't at least get there to December, which is kind of crazy.
So you got a son playing college football. You have a son-in-law playing basketball.
Yes.
Wow. Quite an athletic family.
Brother-in-law or son-in-law played basketball, right?
Yeah, my other son-in-law played basketball at Middle. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, so we do. We got some athletes in the family here.
Do you ever get on the court with these guys?
No, I used to, and then one day I was out there with my son, and he tripped me on purpose, and I got really mad and started throwing punches, but I didn't hit anything because he unfortunately the apple doesn't fall far from the tree when it comes to trash talking, and he learned from me, and he's way more sophisticated at it than me,
So
and he made me so dadgum mad.
You threw a punch at him.
Oh, no question. I was just going to try to hit him in the chest. I didn't throw for the head, but I tried to hit him in the chest, but I missed him because he's too quick for me.
I would like to have seen that. I really would.
He did that crap on purpose. That's the thing that made me mad, you know, and then he just laughed. He thought it was funny.
I'm absolutely shocked. Okay, are we I'm kind of waiting on a signal here on Terry. Okay, Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update is ready. Terry is on with us by phone. Terry, the thing that stood out to me at the end was whatever the first team Titans are, whatever level of can they hold their own, second and third team, got a lot of issues.
Not sure if Terry's hearing us. I can hear some of Terry. Not getting anything from Terry
Huh.
though.
Okay, well, we're off. We're off and
The
running.
running start.
We're off. We're off and
We
rolling.
really are. This is great radio. Well, let's. Why don't we put him on hold and then try it about 60 seconds from now and see if we get anywhere. So back at the station, if you will, let us know if he can hear us. So there is a picture of the crowd that we had for our promotion. Very excited about that. Really good crowd. Thank you to those of you who attended. Pretty much standing room only.
Yeah,
Nice stuff, George.
Yeah.
Not the best game to watch, but
No.
you had one relatively
It's
good
preseason.
drive
It's preseason.
that could have ended in an interception.
Should we try Terry again?
Trying him again. He's looks like he'll be ready shortly.
Okay. Well,
I think we've got him now.
do we? Okay, let's try him. Terry, you there?
I'm here, George. Can you hear me?
You're good. Excellent. So
All right.
it is very obvious that the second and third teams of the Titans gonna need a lot of work and a lot of waiver wire at the end of training camp.
Yeah, I think normally you don't put a whole lot of stock in having the number one waiver claim priority because most of the guys you get off waivers don't change your franchise, but they can upgrade the back of the roster. But to be honest with you, there are probably 7 or 8 spots at least that need upgrading on this roster, and the waiver wire might be a good place to start at the end of training camps because this team has a lot of holes in the secondary. They have holes on the defensive line depth, holes on the offensive line depth, and as you guys probably have already alluded to, they could probably use a little bit of an upgrade at backup quarterback.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I rumored the Kenny Pickett deal out of Cleveland 2.5 weeks ago. Tim Boyle, you can go get anytime, any place, anywhere. The world is littered with Tim Boyles. Brandon Allen's got a little better resume, but let's face it, if Cam Ward were to go down, they are screwed.
Yeah, neither one of these guys look like a viable option if they have to play more than finishing up a game. I don't think you'd want to ride with Brandon Allen or Tim Boyle if you needed a quarterback to get you by for a 3-week stretch. It's let's just put it this way. Their play the other night against Tampa probably made Titans fans long for Will Levis and Mason Rudolph.
Wow. Give us what you know on Tajay Spears, who is a fan favorite, has some spurt ability, if that's a word. What do you know there?
Looks like it's a high ankle sprain, George, and that's probably going to put him on the shelf for 2 to 3 weeks. Would put him in question probably for the season opener. Probably not going to be a season-ending thing, I wouldn't think at least. But it's going to give probably somebody like Julius Chestnut or Khalil Mullins a chance to get some work up with the 2s instead of the 3s. But certainly a rough deal for Tajay Spears because he was having a good camp. He's a guy that, looks pretty good at times with the ball in his hands, but he's just had such a bad rash of injuries, from concussions and a hamstring last year and now an ankle this year, that it's really been difficult for him to keep any traction going. And you hope that he's not headed down the same slippery slope that got Treylon Burks, as in never could stay healthy.
Terry, the team goes to Atlanta early in the week. Kind of tell people what all's going to go on down there, and I know you'll be with them.
Yeah, a couple of days of joint practice work, much like what they did Thursday in Tampa, where Titans offense will play the Falcons defense and vice versa. And then they'll work against each other on special teams and come together for some team drills and things like that. Brian Callahan said the big difference in this, with it being 2 days, is that you'll get to work on some stuff the second day, maybe that you weren't satisfied with the first day, and get a chance to go over it again and maybe do a couple of other additional things to kind of get some extra stuff going. And these joint practices, like I've told you before, really are becoming the thing around the NFL, because teams would rather do those types of things rather than put all their eggs in the basket of a preseason game.
Yeah. Preseason games lack a little something. Oh, they lack quite a bit. Terry, safe travels down there. If you run into any brave relievers, go the other way.
I don't even want to talk baseball right now. The Yankees are just atrocious.
Oh gosh, yes, they have apparently come in contact with the Braves bullpen.
You want Devin Williams? You can have him.
You want Enyel De Los Santos? You can have him. I'll see you soon, Terry. Good old Enyel.
All right.
Okay. Billy, you have an update to do. Lay it on.
Yeah, we got a new sponsor for the update.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's brought to you by our Football Night in Nashville promotion at Sports and Social in Green Hills. Join us Thursday, September the 4th, as the Dallas Cowboys travel to Philadelphia. First Thursday night game of the season. So come out and join us at Sports and Social. Get some Papa Shot in, some trivia questions. By the way, the Papa Shot was actually my buddy that won it, 101. I think the next closest was 60 or 70 made shots.
So your friend lapped the field.
Yeah. I was like, what did you do? He's like, it's all about speed.
Yeah.
As opposed to accuracy. So
a good time was had by all.
Yeah, that was fun. Also, you got the AP poll released in college football this morning. The SEC leads all conferences with 10 teams in the top 25, to no one's surprise. That's the most ever by a conference. Notre Dame is in the preseason top 10 for the third time in 4 years. And how about this with Texas? Texas is at number 1. Despite being at number 1, they're a 2.5-point underdog at Ohio State in week 1. Barring any line movement, which there might be, this would make the Longhorns the first ever top-ranked team to be an underdog in week 1. I didn't know that.
Here's a thought.
Hook 'em.
Did we not get that on the old podcast?
I've got the graphic up right now.
Well, take it off. Thank you. Move on.
So Georgia's hooking them. Meanwhile, we've got a little bit of trouble in Knoxville. Wide receiver Chris Brazzell was arrested on charges of driving with a suspended license. He was only going 60 in a 35 near Tennessee's campus. But we've seen worse. Let's just say that.
Gosh.
Does he not qualify for acceptance on Georgia's football team?
Well, there were some jokes about that.
Yeah.
He's probably going to transfer to Georgia here in a few days. But he allegedly handed over his passport, but told officers he did not have his license with him. And they discovered that his license had been suspended due to missing a court date several months back. So he was at practice, though, today. So nothing burger.
So where does the passport come in?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in
He's
China?
just looking like, okay, they'll take this. If something happens, I don't have my license, but they'll take this.
Did they think he was going to Canada?
Yeah, he said. I guess he thought it was worth a shot. But Jimbo Fisher was in the news as well over the past few days. He was on a podcast last week and said that he's got a lot to give, and he's eyeing a coaching return to the college ranks. He said, "I'm 59, in great shape and healthy. I've had success everywhere I've been. The end at Texas A&M was unfortunate, but we also had the highest-ranked team they ever had there in 2020. Our quarterbacks got hurt. We played with first team, third team. It was hard to get play calling and guys around. Didn't pan out like we needed to, but I still love it." Sounds like a few excuses there from Jimbo. He also added that he's won 72% of his games, won 80% of his playoff games, said, I've been fortunate to work to win a national title as a head coach and assistant. I miss the relationships with players.
And in a related note, his buyout was bigger than the gross national product of some third world countries.
That's pretty good, George. Because you're right. Sierra Leone ain't got nothing on our boy Jimbo Fisher.
$76 million.
How much money they got in Chad?
Chad.
I don't know.
Well, this next piece might make you guys feel a little old. The son of Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, E.J. Warner, has been named the starting quarterback at Fresno State. He's actually played a lot more football than I thought. He started 31 games at both Temple and Rice the last few seasons, and Fresno State plays Week 0 at Kansas. So,
okay,
E.J. Warner getting the start. Wanted to mention this also. John Gruden expressed his desire to coach again as well.
I heard he was going to Tennessee.
Me too.
Yeah.
Groomers.
Oh, good gracious. Are we going to let that later? I mean, good. Well, I'm tired of hearing that. Nobody, that falls under the category of nobody cares.
He said the only reason.
There was a time where somebody cared.
Gosh.
He was at Georgia last week and visited them. He said, the only reason I really came here is because I want to coach again. I'm being honest with you. I do not BS either. I want to coach again. I'd die to coach in the SEC. I would love it. I would love it. I'll let you.
So he was at Georgia?
Yeah.
I heard that they offered him the driver's ed class.
Oh, man. He could teach that.
I'm on a roll today.
George, you are ready, dude. Show prep is ready today.
I mean, did you practice these earlier today?
No, I did not. Keep going.
You're throwing him up softballs, Billy.
I am. That's a good point. Lastly, Paramount has reached a 7-year deal for all UFC events in the United States. There's a pretty big deal. Under the deal, Paramount will exclusively distribute the UFC's full slate of its 13 marquee numbered events and 30 fight nights on its streaming platform. I don't watch a ton of those, but a lot of people do.
So when they did the thing in Nashville a few weeks ago, they started the preliminaries like at 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Is that normal?
Yeah.
I think it is. They start them early, and then the marquee ones aren't until what, Kelly?
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. But it's amazing how I was listening to that. First of all, it's amazing that Paramount has gotten – I don't want to know who's running Paramount because they have gobbled up everything. And then UFC has gotten so big. Like when they first got started, they couldn't get – like nobody wanted to watch it. And now it's like must-see TV.
CBS is Paramount, isn't
Are
it?
they?
No, not anymore. They split.
Really?
Yeah, Paramount split from CBS. And but I mean, this is a lot of Dana White at UFC. He's
crazy.
He's probably if not the best businessman in the world. Maybe. So that's I don't know what that changes about the UFC. I mean, I'm sure because I don't ever watch it, but Paramount and UFC struck a deal.
It means it's streaming, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, what's the difference? But where were they on, just on ESPN Plus? I think is what they were on.
Some of them were. Some of the lower ranked stuff was on the mothership.
That's right.
In the summer.
So you got to get the Paramount. This is probably better for Paramount. They get all those subscriptions for the UFC fans.
Yeah. We done?
Yep.
Okay. After the break, we'll spend a lot of time analyzing what went on a couple of days ago in Tampa. We'll start with the good, which to me was Cam Ward's second drive. And given that we have a former NFL quarterback on campus, Kelly will have some thoughts on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling. They enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC. Here to get you there. Member FDIC.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
The beauty of where the Titans appear to be right now is, unlike last season, nobody seems fooled. There appear to be virtually no expectations. I think most people have reconciled themselves to the fact that, look, they were 3-14 for a reason. They were the worst team in pro football. And with that, they got the number 1 pick in the draft. They used it on Cam Ward, once of Washington State, but most recently from the University of Miami. And Kelly, although I don't agree with him only playing 2 series, thought he looked pretty darn good.
Yeah, I thought he was impressive. I really did. The one thing that I really like about him is when they showed those close-ups and him in the huddle. He commands that huddle now. That's as a quarterback, that's what you have to do, George. You've got to people have to have confidence in you when you step in that huddle. And you could just see he was pointing to everybody. That when they showed those close-ups, I was very impressed with that, because he's got a grasp of the offense. He's still going to have to learn. There's going to be things that that he's gone over, but he just really doesn't understand right now. But that just comes with playing and experience. But I thought that was the most impressive thing to me, was seeing how he interacted in the huddle. I thought he made some really good throws. The one that we're watching on YouTube right now, he got fooled on that one. Now that's the one he probably should have got intercepted right there. But you're going to get that stuff from him. He's a rookie. He's got to learn. He's got to figure out if he can fit those balls in. But when it's a press corner and there's nobody coming to the flat, because he's the flat defender and it's cover 2, they were running a sail route, which means it's a forced outside release by the number 1 receiver out there, and then the number 2 guy's running like a 15-yard out, and he's kind of bending it, and he thought he could fit that ball in there. And when you have nobody coming to the flat to control the underneath defender, which is the corner there, you can't throw that ball, because he's going to bait you into throwing that. And he got lucky because they didn't pick it off. But other than that, I thought he was poised. I thought he looked great in the pocket. He was able to move. I've talked about it before, George. I don't think he's a runner. I think he's a thrower first. He can run the ball, kind of like Shedeur Sanders did the other night. And I thought that he maneuvered the pocket well. I thought, you listen to Brian Callahan, he talks about how there's some things that they got to clean up, which that's every game. You've got things you got to clean up, but he'll get better with the time, and he's got to get the ball out a little bit quicker. But I thought it was really good, and it's so much different. Like last year, and I'm going to bring this up again, but everybody was on the Will Levis bandwagon. They thought he was going to be the guy, which you're laughing right now. Yeah. And I said, guys, you can't. He's not there yet. I mean, he the same things that he had in college. I say this every time. The same things that he did in college, he's done in the pros, and I don't think Cam Ward is that guy. I really don't. I think the Titans have hit something with Cam Ward. Now, whether it's a home run yet, I don't know. But I think he's a hard worker. And from where he started college football and where he progressed up, and he used the transfer portal to his advantage, which that's what everybody does now. But to start out where he did and where he finished, the guy, you can tell, is a hard worker, and guys respect that. And I thought it was really good the other night.
Kelly, in that second drive where he engineers the Titans into a touchdown, what was Tampa Bay doing defensively? Was it pretty exotic? Was it totally vanilla? Talk to us about that.
Well, I didn't really pay much attention to that, George, but normally it's vanilla unless, when you get T-Bowles, of course, now in the regular season, he's going to bring pressure on you, but normally it's just rushing 4 guys and we're dropping 7. That's kind of what we're doing. And maybe if you get down inside the red zone, you'll show a couple of blitzes. But more than likely, I've told you this, like, we're just playing kind of a vanilla deal. We're not bringing pressure. We're trying to figure out what we got on defense. T-Bowles is trying to figure out what he's got and who can make plays. And if they go man to man, there's issues right there where we're looking man to man. It's one man is what it means when you got a middle of the field close safety, and then everybody else is manned up. So he's wanting to see who can play man to man on an island by themselves. And as a quarterback, you have to take advantage of that, and that's where you get matchups. That's where I think he's got kind of in a rhythm with Ridley. Because he hit him the other night on 3 passes, I believe, and he averaged 16 yards a catch. So I think he's got some rhythm. I think he's got some continuity with Calvin Ridley. And when you get in situations like that and you recognize a defense and you recognize it's man to man, well, now I look across the board and I'm looking to guys, okay, who can win? All right, their best corner may be on Calvin Ridley, but if I've seen enough film and I think Calvin Ridley's better than he is, I'm going to maybe look the safety off, but I know where I'm going. As long as I'm protected, I know where I'm going. And I think that's why he's got some continuity with Calvin Ridley, because he trusts him.
Okay, let's talk. The plane lands in Nashville, and either Sunday or today, before they go to Atlanta, Callahan and Cam Ward get together. I'm assuming there's a lot of positive off what we saw. What things is Callahan saying to him? Hey, now I need you to do X.
I think he needs to I think he needs to learn coverage a little bit better, recognize coverage a little bit better. Like that one that costs you when you're in a real game. It got dropped, and sometimes you have interceptions that get dropped. You just make a mistake, but he's got to understand that. What I was talking about, like in cover 2, it's the corner's job to press number 1 and make it easy for the safety. So you're going to reroute him or do something else. Well, he thought that he could fit that ball in there, and you just can't do that. If they had a third guy over there running like a flare route or a flat route by the back, then that makes the corner say, hey, I got to cover him because he's a flat defender. So I think he's got to work on that. I think he's got to work probably some more. It's a never-ending saga when you're playing quarterback with your footwork. You have to be good with your feet. If you're not good with your feet, because everything, you can have the strongest arm in the world, but if you're not good with your feet, you're not ready to throw. That's why I marveled at Joe Montana. He was light on his feet, and he could throw any throw, and that's what you do all those stupid little drills for that I hate. I can't stand that stuff, but you always have room for improvement on your feet, and I just think it's recognizing defense, work on your feet. You need to know as a quarterback not only who's protected, but you need to know what every route is, what everybody on the offense is doing. I'm sure he knows that.
So against Atlanta, don't you have to play him more than 2 series?
Well, it's just like I was watching after the game or during the game, and Gerald McCoy was talking about. I think he played for the Bucks a long time ago. He's from Oklahoma, but he was talking about how and Herm Edwards has said this: you're a football player, go play football. And I don't like the way this stuff is going. Like I know that they're just like Terry talked about. They're getting a lot out of these dual practices. I remember when we started doing that. I remember when I was a rookie and when I was at Tampa, we flew to Miami and had a practice down there with those guys before we did it. So that's been going on forever. But I don't know how much you're getting out of preseason games anymore because Jeffrey Simmons didn't play. Tavondre Sweat didn't play. All these guys are not playing. I just think you can't, as a coach, and I know these guys are getting paid outrageous amounts of money, George, and you got to keep them healthy. But like I don't know how you, with the monetary things that are going on, I don't know how you don't coach scared because you can't afford having a Jeffrey Simmons hurt. You can't afford having a Cam Ward hurt. You can't afford having certain guys hurt. But still, it's part of the game, and you don't want to hurt them in preseason. So what's the answer to that? Like, they're always going to have preseason games, I assume, or are we just going to go to these joint practices? Like, if we get more out of that, just have a joint practice in the stadium, and we get to see everything and charge people money to do that. I don't know if that's never going to happen. I get it. But, like, these preseason games are awful. It's hard to watch. I don't even want to watch it. It's terrible.
Yeah. Okay, so let me try this one. Then we'll end the Cam Ward discussion for the most part. The backup quarterback situation. I strongly believe that person is not on their roster today. Do you agree with that?
From what I saw the other day, yeah. I hate. I've told you this before. I don't like talking about quarterbacks because I know how hard it is to play. And I was one of those guys. Like, nobody knew who I was. I just needed an opportunity. And when I got out there and got an opportunity, I played well. But I think the thought that you thought a couple of weeks ago about Kenny Pickett, I think if you're looking for a veteran quarterback, you look no further than the Cleveland Browns. They got Joe Flacco and they got Kenny Pickett. Now, one of them's going to stay, but they got Shedeur Sanders, who played really well the other night, and they got Dylan Gabriel. So, Dylan Gabriel for sure is going to be on the team. Shedeur, I don't know. We'll see. I think he deserved to get to playing some more the other night, but one of those guys is going to be left behind. And if I'm the Titans, there's going to be a lot of people probably after him. But if I'm the Titans, I'm trying to maneuver myself up there to get one of those guys because they've got to have somebody, and I'm just not sure. You hate saying that about a fellow quarterback, but I'm just not sure that if something does happen to Cam Ward, I mean, this whole season for Brian Callahan depends on him. And then if they don't have a capable backup, which I know he was with him, Brandon Allen was with him, but just didn't. They turned the ball over the other night. When you do that in the National Football League, you're not going to be around for very long because when you turn the ball over, it's the quickest way to lose a game in the National Football League, and you just cannot do that as a quarterback. And I think they're probably scratching their heads saying, hey, we may need to do something.
Okay, Cam Ward was the important issue that came out of Tampa. After the break, we'll get to the rest of it, the good and the bad, as our Titans analysis continues on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Hello, I got places to be. Like me next to you, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me. Hello, I got places to be.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Here's Officer Darren Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Okay, there is news to pass on before we go any farther with our discussion of the Titans, and it involves the Titans.
Yeah.
They have signed Trevor Siemian and waived Tim Boyle.
There you go.
Trevor Siemian is a former Titan from a couple of years ago. Tim Boyle was never going to amount to anything in this, and I don't mean to be ugly, but you can go get Tim Boyle and Tim Boyle types anytime, any place. Kelly, I never understood that to begin with.
That's you are being mean, George, but that's that's the fierce reality of professional sports. Like, some guys can do it, some guys can't, and that's just the harsh reality of it. And it just didn't. I don't know. I think isn't he from Eastern Kentucky? Is that not where he's from?
Yep.
I think he played at Eastern. So, yeah, he just didn't fit the bill. But like Trevor Siemian, he's obviously started. He started for the Denver Broncos. He's played for quite a long time. So they kind of, I don't know if you totally cinch that up. You said he's been with the Titans before, but that's certainly better. They're certainly in a better spot than when they had those two guys. And you have to. I can remember my college coach used to tell me this when I was trying to make it. He always told me during training camp, I want you to, because they always have evaluating meetings, George, every night. And Coach Robbins and Coach Donnelly would always tell me, make them make a decision about you. Don't make them go into an evaluation meeting and say, Holcomb, he's just a camp guy. Make them make a decision about you. And Tom Brady talked about it when he was in college. He only got 2 reps, but he's like, I'm going to make these 2 reps the best I can make, and then maybe I'll get some more. And it started adding up, and that's kind of how I made it. I was not going to allow them guys to go past me without talking about me a little bit. And that's tough when you don't have a name, but when you go out there on the field, you have to play. I mean, it's a production game, professional sports. If you don't produce, you're going to be gone.
With Boyle, do you think it was solely his performance in the preseason game? I mean, it probably wasn't, but how big of a part is your preseason game performance?
Well, that's big, but here's the deal, Billy. Every meeting, the head coach, which used to bother the piss out of me, I didn't like that word. They said, well, we're evaluating everything. We're evaluating you. We're evaluating you working out. We're evaluating
my phone.
Oh gosh, I mean, but they're hey, practices everything that you do, man. They watch you. They do, and they're evaluating what you do. And it probably wasn't just on the field the other night, Billy. I'm sure he'd been showing signs in practice, and they're probably thinking, we're going to give him a shot Saturday. Maybe he's a different player on the game field than he is on the practice field, but if he doesn't pick it up, he's gone. And they gave him a shot. Once you get a chance and you get an opportunity, that's all you can ask for in the National Football League. If you're not one of these big celebrity guys that Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes that we know is going to make it because they've been there, done that, once you get an opportunity, you have to go out and play. And if you don't, it doesn't matter who you're playing against either. You might be playing against the third team guys. If you go out and look good, then you'll get some more shots. But if you don't, gone.
Okay, so let's re-ask the question. Is the Titans' backup quarterback on their roster today?
With Trevor Siemian being added, you could probably upgrade from him if you get one of those other guys, but it's better. It's better now than it was 5 minutes ago when we were talking about it. So I don't know if Trevor Siemian moves the bar, but he has played. He's got some experience, and he started games, and that means something when you get to the NFL. So, yeah, I think it's better. We've got to see just the next preseason game. Let's just see how that plays out, and then if he gets in and plays well, yeah, I mean, I think that he might be on the roster, correct.
Let's now look at the good and the bad of the game in general. Let's start with some positives here. We've already talked about Cam Ward and a very good second drive. This middle person, James Williams Sr., everywhere.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
He started the game off with that big hit to start the kickoff return. So he made a name for himself the other day. Yeah, and obviously if you can build on that, that'd be great.
The bottom in the good is me because I went haywire a year ago about this. Their special teams looked better. Now, you could be a smart aleck and say, well, it had nowhere to go but up, because this had to be the worst special teams performance in the history of special teams. But that's a good sign that it did look better.
I agree. I mean, you're always looking for signs that make you feel a little bit more confident about your team. And last year, man, you kept harping on it, and I wasn't really paying attention to it because it is a third of the game, but as a quarterback, you pay more attention to the offense and what's going on offensively. But special teams was really bad last year, George. And the other night they had some glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully that keeps up for the regular season.
Okay, the negatives start with run defense, which simply wasn't good enough. And that's interesting because when I think about Tampa Bay, I'm thinking Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, and yeah. I'm not thinking as much running the football. To me, that's a bad sign.
I think that's what Terry brought up. They need some more depth on the defensive line because, like I said, T'Vondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons, neither one played, and they're your big guys in the middle. It's going to be tough to run against those guys when they're in, but you have to have capable backups, and I kind of think that's where they got exposed the other night, and Terry even alluded to it in the update. They've got to have some depth at corner, and they got to have some depth at D-line. And right now with the run defense and the way that I think they gave up 178 rushing yards the other night. So you've got to have capable guys behind Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat to do that. And you got to be looking, and waiver wire may be the way to go.
So for you, if Tyjae Spears' injury seeps over into the regular season, that's a pretty big loss, isn't it?
Yeah, that is kind of a big loss because, he and Tony Pollard are kind of 1A, 1B, and they're kind of the same type backs. I think Tyjae Spears got a little bit more juke to him. I think, Tony Pollard is more physical. But in the pass game, I think Tyjae Spears is pretty good. And high ankle sprains, George, I had one. I don't know why it's such a big deal, but like that, I think that's why Tua Tagovailoa, when he was at Alabama, had that surgery because he had a high ankle sprain that brought him back earlier. I don't know what they do with that, but those high ankle sprains can linger on, and they can be. It's kind of like a hamstring. If you don't properly repair it and rehab it, it can mess with you the whole year. So that's kind of a red flag to me when he said high ankle sprain. If it's just a lower ankle sprain, which is that's a week or two, but I don't know how Tyjae Spears is. I watched Adrian Peterson have a meniscus deal where he had to miss a couple of games, and normally that's 6 weeks after surgery, and he was back in 2.5 weeks. And one of the trainers like, that guy's a freak of nature, and he may be a freak of nature, and he may be able to get back, but normally those high ankle sprains take some time to heal, George.
So the bottom with the 3 turnovers is pretty obvious. Look, this team has no margin for error. And on the days in the regular season where they absolutely have a chance to win, and that won't be every game based on what we've seen, but on the games where they commit 3 turnovers, forget it. They got no chance.
Yeah, it's hard to win. I bring up that deal every year about Jim Moore when he used to come in. He had the keys to winning, and if you lose the turnover battle in the National Football League, you're more than likely going to get beat. Plus, they had an interception return for the game was already over, but they had an interception return for a touchdown, I think, at the end. So when you get a defensive touchdown, your percentages of winning go way up, and if you get 2. You're not going to lose a game in the National Football League. And when you turn the ball over, that's what the New England Patriots did with Tom Brady for so many years. He just didn't turn the ball over. And they were so confident in what he could do with the ball, even at the end of the game when they were trying to run the clock out. If they got it under 5 minutes, they would throw the ball because he's not going to turn the ball over. And they were so confident in that. That's why they won all those games and won all those Super Bowls, because they protected the ball, and on defense, they took the ball away.
I'll say this on Spears' injury. Who knows when he's able to get back, but Khalil Mullings looked really good. And I know
he did
game, but he had a ton of carries, and I'm not too worried about him behind Pollard in the regular season, to be honest.
We'll see.
No, he did look pretty good. I was quite shocked. I'm like, who is this cat? He's when he decides, and which I love backs that make one move and they just head north. When you start doing all that pitter-patting, and that's what he did on his first run, he kind of pitter-patted, and then he made an adjustment. It's one move and hit it. And I thought he ran physical, and I thought he looked pretty good. So he may be one to look at. I know the other kid's been there for a while, but he was kind of impressive with what he did the other night.
Okay, let me talk through, and I want to get y'all to react to this. It's very clear that when you get past the starters, how many of those starters are really good, that's up for debate. We'll find out at some point. But I think we already know their second and third team depth is a joke. And so I would assume that Borgonzi, Brinker, whoever the general manager is next week, and their staff of people will essentially, I'm guessing, be assigned a certain number of teams. And in that room, somebody will say, okay, you have the Chargers. Who are the most likely people to get cut? And is there anybody in that group, given that we have first dibs, that we need to claim and get rid of some of this deadwood that they've got there? Kelly, isn't that what happens here?
Yeah, it does, and that's what all those guys get paid for. They've done the research on all these guys. They've got books on them, and they know who maybe they were looking at coming out of the draft, or some of these free agents that they've got a deal of all 31 teams other than themselves. So they know what's happening, and that's the scouting department. That's the football ops people. They understand, and it's hard though. Terry's talked about it. Every now and then you'll find a gem. Every now and then you'll find a pick, a guy that can come in and kind of fill a void. But sometimes it's hard. They're getting cut for a reason. Sometimes it's just numbers. And if it's numbers deal and the kid's a good player, then that's the one you go after. And they've done their homework. They've studied all that stuff, and hopefully they have. I mean, it's been a while since they've been productive, but that's what a football department does. They have to have all those numbers and all those stats and who we're thinking about getting and who we think we can bring in here that will go with this offense or mix well with this defense. And that's their job.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's not as important as getting the draft right, but given where they are, guys,
it's important.
Isn't that the next most important thing right now? Because I mean, their second and third team is a joke.
It is important, but that's why
NFL.
Yeah, and that's why I've said that I hope that this, just for the fans, just for the community, just for me being a Tennessean, I hope that they have somewhat of, I don't know if it's going to be a successful year, but can win some games with this young man and can keep people healthy, because the worst thing they can do is get rid of a coaching staff. And with that being said, the coaching staff, I feel like he may feel like that he's got guys in starting positions that they can hold on to. Now you have to build depth. But then if you start over again, it's tough to do that. It's tough. And I just think that's the wrong move if that happens. Hopefully they can win 5 or 6 games and have another year of this where they can create a good offense, a good defense, and then depth. That's what you have to have, because people are going to get injured in the National Football League every week, and you got to have good people behind them, and that's what they need.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at their depth chart, and defensively, there's Cedric Gray isn't a bad, backup linebacker. I know they got Quandre Diggs back, but other than that, and include the offense in there, I know Iomanor is a guy that we can expect to do some things this year. The offensive line depth does not look good, and defensively, for the most part, that depth is not good. And I don't think the defense is really all that good to begin with. So yeah. You've got to. You can't just, if this year kind of starts going downhill, where does this front office start to look? I mean, do they that's one of my questions.
Well, I think the pressure point becomes in early November, the bye week of where are they, and is she in one of her patient moods, or is she in one of these moods to fire the world? Because in the last couple of years, I can't figure her out. She's not sweet Miss Amy the way everybody has pegged her to be. She's fired damn near everybody except our show.
She may do that too.
She's gone after everybody. So, Brian Callahan, I would assume, isn't stupid and knows that she's got this side of her. And he's got to be sitting there saying, I've probably got September and October, and after that, all bets are off.
It's a tough deal, George, and that's why nobody. I've said this multiple times. Instant coffee generation. Nobody will be patient enough. Owners now are not patient enough. They will not let the process fill out because their fan base is on. You can't worry about that stuff. You're in a profession where it takes time, but they're in that deal where it's just cycling over and over again. Getting guys fired, getting new guys, getting GMs fired, getting a new guy. There's no consistency whatsoever, and you have to have that in an organization to be good.
Okay, after the break, we'll get into stat of the day. That may not be very pretty either. Maybe we need to get replaced. Then we'll find out about the University of Missouri. A former plaster intern, Billy Jones, will join us to find out about life after Brady Cook. Then we will open up the phone lines at 4:20 for some of your evaluations of what you saw Saturday night in Tampa. Billy, show that picture again because somebody was out there watching, certainly at Sports and Social for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. We'll do it again on September the 4th when Philadelphia plays host to the Dallas Cowboys. This is 94.9 The Fan.
Start your engines. Nashville's biggest racing weekend is back. It's the Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix, August 30th and 31st at Nashville Super Speedway. The speed, the sound, the stars of open wheel racing are all going full throttle. And you can catch every second of the action right here on 102.5 The Game. Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Racing takes over Music City. Don't miss a lap. Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Get ready for an unforgettable night where Nashville's spirit lifts its littlest hearts. Trinetics Rock the Cradle returns September 18th at the Pinnacle at Nashville Yards, bringing a private concert by country music's Tim McGraw. Exclusive tickets available at rockthecradle.org. Every moment powers hope for newborns and mothers cared for at the Beeman Neonatal Intensive Care Unit and the Ascension St. Thomas Foundation. Get tickets now at rockthecradlenashville.org.
This summer, the Legends of the West invite you to the Buffalo Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums come alive with timeless Western art, heroic tales, and native cultures. Experience live birds of prey, crackling chuckwagon dinners, and behind-the-scenes adventures. Just 50 miles from Yellowstone's East Gate, our doors open wide to explorers young and old. 1 ticket grants you 2 days, enough time to let curiosity lead the way. Visit centerofthewest.org.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We're talking a little Missouri with Billy Jones coming up, but first, stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, we're going NFL. Keenan Allen is back with the Chargers, where he holds the single-season record for most receptions by a Charger with 108. Who is second on that list?
Okay. Kelly, wasn't there in the Coryell years?
Yes.
Jefferson. Who was the tight end?
Kellen Winslow.
Do you think
Kellen Winslow?
Do you think it's Winslow?
I do.
Well, you know what?
But he says, hold on. He says it's more recent though.
It's more recent.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. We need some cheating right about now.
Was Anquan Bolden wasn't a Charger, was he?
No.
He was a Cardinal, Arizona Cardinal.
He was a Baltimore Raven.
Correct. Who was second on that list?
Oh man.
This is irritating.
Oh, this is very irritating. And my
What's
gut
that?
feeling is
Was it Mike Williams? Is it Mike Williams? Was he one of them?
Nope.
Gosh.
Chargers.
This
should be obvious.
Ho. Was he a tight end?
Nope.
Oh, no. Gosh.
Well, go with it anyway. It sounds good.
No, they're going to be
Well,
kicking yourself.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Austin Eckler.
Austin
Eckler.
Wow. Out of the backfield.
Wow.
He caught 107?
Yeah, that's a wild number for a running back.
Yeah. What did that get him?
Go out of there.
Commanders.
Hey. Is he still there?
With the Commanders?
Yeah.
I think so.
That's not all too bad right now.
By the way, the Chargers need to continue to wear the baby blues.
Yes.
Get rid of the dark blue. It doesn't work. Baby blue, baby.
Yeah, that's a really good look.
Yeah. Okay, are we now officially into hour number 2?
We are.
We're headed to Columbia, Missouri. The Missouri Tigers, the last couple of years, have gotten a lot of people's attention in the SEC. Remember when they ripped into Ohio State a year and a half ago in the Cotton Bowl? Former Plaster intern Billy Jones remembers, and he joins us with his own microphone. Very impressive.
Oh, you know me. That's something they can never take away from you. Former Plaster Show intern. They can put that on my tombstone if they need to.
Well, most have been smart enough. Get out before you get in. But you, on the other hand, want to do this for a living, and I think I'll just put the personal stamp of endorsement. This young guy is going to be a terrific broadcaster.
Well, what else do I need?
Probably a lot. Probably a lot. Some of Kelly's money wouldn't hurt. So
try to keep it.
I gather that the whole Missouri community these days is very happy with Eli Drinkwitz, the new contract extension. Tell me how they feel about him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I think they've really thrived in this new NIL environment where they've been able to close the gap a little bit. Back-to-back 10-win seasons. That's only happened twice in the history of the program. They did it again this year, would be the first time ever. And they've still, since they've joined the conference, yet to put together 3 winning seasons in a row. So that's another milestone they could achieve. I think everyone's enthused with the direction of the program. I mean, you saw it too from the university has approved a massive stadium renovation. That hill is going to be replaced, and there's now going to be 4 sets of stands surrounding Faurot Field. So it feels like everyone's pulling together in the same direction, and feels like this could really be the start of something special.
Have you ever had a beer on that hill?
I've had a few beers on that hill, George.
Really? Well, congratulations. I know your parents are proud. Let's talk a little bit about the quarterback position, because when Brady Cook was under center or in the shotgun, man, it was like clockwork. And then when Drew Pine came in, it was like the Ferris wheel stopped and you were stuck at the top going, get me down.
Yeah.
So where are they quarterback wise?
Yeah, so there's a pretty intense quarterback battle at the moment. Bo Pribula, who was the backup last year at Penn State, featured heavily. They had a lot of short yardage packages for him, used him in the red zone. And I think most impressively was a game against Wisconsin in which Drew Aller got hurt, and they were actually trailing at halftime. Pribula had to quarterback that entire second half on the road, led him to a win. He's going up against Sam Horn, who's in his 4th year in the program, was hurt last year and was supposed to be the backup. So that's why Mizzou ended up having to turn to Drew Pine. But he's a kid with a really impressive arm, just got drafted by the Dodgers, actually, in the MLB draft. And so he's a guy that knows this program a little bit better. I think most people feel like it's going to be Pribula, but seems like at this moment it's still very much a neck-and-neck 2-horse race.
Yeah. So let me ask it this way, because clearly Missouri has been a surprise past what most people thought they would be when they got in the SEC. Are they simply able to get in on better people because they're in the SEC?
I think that's part of it. I think the biggest jump that they've made the last 2 years, though, has been their ability to be at the forefront of some of this NIL stuff. Back in the original days, they had a state law change that allowed them to pay kids in high school as soon as they signed their national letter of intent. They could start getting the NIL money. They have passed now a law in the legislature that essentially allows the NIL fund to act as a marketing arm of the university, meaning they get access to even more money. And they've even shifted the last 2 years. They've been recruiting really well in high school and now have kind of flipped it on its head and basically said they're going to focus in on the portal. High school class was in the 30s last year, but their portal class was top 10. And they've been able to really mechanize St. Louis and Kansas City, which are big opportunities for marketing. There's a lot of money there, and there's only one major university, obviously, in the state of Missouri. And that's money that isn't necessarily prominent at every SEC location. Mizzou's done a great job of tapping into that. And, you know, as much as you'd love to give credit to the wonderful town of Columbia and the recruiting visits and the photos and all that, we'll call a spade a spade. They've been very good about maximizing their NIL opportunities.
Kelly, say hello to Billy Jones.
Billy, what's up, brother? How you doing?
How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. Hey, talk about that NIL stuff. It looked like, is this what this Verma guy, how do you even say his first name? I'm not sure. Is that what he's going to be doing? Because I guess he's head of football strategy and the, what does it say, the finance? So is he the NIL guy?
So he's essentially going to act as a go-between between a lot of the boosters and the football program. Most intriguingly, what Eli Drinkwitz was talking about yesterday, he's primarily going to be more research oriented in the sense that his primary job is going to be determining worth of players. So when, you know, Jamal Roberts, who's Mizzou's backup running back, says, you know, I want X amount of money, you know, he's the guy that's going to be sitting there. Well, a guy of his caliber, a second string running back, here's what we should be paying him. Let's make sure we don't go over that. Where can we find value in guys in the transfer portal that maybe we can get for cheaper than other people? That is going to be his primary role. I mean, Eli Drinkwitz is still going to be in charge of the roster, and he's ultimately going to have the final say. But that's what this new position is for, is more, I think, to have a coherent system by which to evaluate players instead of going one by one saying, we like this guy. How much would we have to pay him? Hey, such and such says he might hit the transfer portal. How much do we have to pay to keep him? To have an established system of how much we want to spend at every spot and use that as a framework going forward. So that's going to be his primary role in the organization.
With NIL stuff, and I know you're not with other universities, but is that what everybody's doing, Billy? I mean, you know, they're going to have, because we talked with an NIL guy at Louisville, but you got to have those guys in place because it's just so much on the head coach. And you got that. That's the first I've heard about that. That's a pretty cool deal right there when you got a guy that can evaluate talent. And then this guy comes in and says, I want this money. Well, here's how it's you know, it's like comparing prices on houses, you know. Here's what this young guy did. And he's kind of in the same boat as you. That's pretty sophisticated there.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also new. I think every program's figuring out how they want to do it, what level of control. Missouri's system is interesting because what Eli Drinkwitz has said is that none of his assistant coaches know how much they pay guys. And he's trying to essentially make it blind to playing time, because I think there's an added pressure that, hey, if we're paying this guy X amount of money, does he have to get these amount of snaps? Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's at least the framework they've tried to put in place. But I think, Kelly, it's just all these schools are kind of figuring it out as they go. We'll probably see a little bit more standardization here about 5, 6, 7 years once everybody starts to see what works, what doesn't. But I think all these schools are just trying to manage it the best way they can.
Okay, so I got one more, Billy. I want to know what happened last year, because was it injuries? Was it guys? Because you had obviously Brady Cook, who'd been in the system for a while. You had those two really good receivers. Yeah. You kind of had the total package last year, and the expectations were so high, and it just seems like they didn't live up to those expectations. I know they had 10 wins, but like still, everybody was talking about them maybe being on the bubble of a playoff team, and it just seems like it slid there at the end. Was it injuries? What was it?
Yeah, I think injuries played a role. I really don't think Brady was at 100% after that Auburn game. But even before that, that offense really didn't look as good as I and a lot of other people thought it could be. I mean, Vandy really shut them down. They scored just 7 points at Texas A&M. And it was interesting to look at the offensive line numbers because they were graded by Pro Football Focus as the best run blocking line in the SEC. And this outside zone scheme that Missouri runs is a lot about feel, and it works a lot better when you have a running back who really understands it and excels in it. Nate Noel wasn't able to, I think, carry the load a lot of people were hoping he could have. And I personally think Kirby Moore, the offensive coordinator, tried to lean a little bit too much on the run game. We saw later in that season, that second half against South Carolina, against Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Iowa in the bowl game, when they started to open things up and really let their weapons make good plays, the offense looked a lot better. I think there was a want to control games as they had in 23, and I just don't think, frankly, the squad last year was good enough to control games in the way they did the year before. So I'm interested to see what year 3 looks like with Kirby Moore. Year 1 in the SEC, did a great job. Offense exploded. Last year, it felt like I think a lot of SEC defensive coordinators had a little bit more on tape, were more ready for some of the things that Missouri threw at them. So I'll be interested to see what play calling looks like in year 3 and if they can get back to, top half of the conference in offense.
Really appreciate you hopping on with us. The running back situation, you mentioned Nate Noel gone, Marcus Carroll gone, but Ahmad Hardy could be better than both those guys. And I think there's a chance he could end up being better than Cody Schrader. He's probably more talented than Cody Schrader. A lot of people may not know that Hardy forced 94 missed tackles last year, second only to Ashton Genty out of he was at Louisiana Monroe last year. What can we expect from him in this offense? And in that scheme, he fits perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. They run that outside zone scheme at UL Monroe. 1,350 yards last year is the most of returning running backs and yards after contact. I think he's a guy that's going to be ready to play early. The interesting thing is, though, it sounds like there's still some question marks on the offensive line. You got Caden Green and Connor Tollison in the middle coming back, but Eli Drinkwitz has said he still doesn't know who his best 5 is, and they're very much of the school of thought that it's not about playing for position. It's just about getting your best 5 guys on the offensive line. So it'll be intriguing to see how fast that clicks, but I think if this offensive line is even top half of the league, I mean, you got a guy in Ahmad Hardy who knows this scheme, and outside zone, I think, puts more stress on the running back in terms of vision. And when you get a guy who knows how to run it and has the athleticism to hit holes and hit them well, it can really be effective. So I expect some big things from the Missouri running game, especially if this offensive line can figure out some things. Might take a while, but I think by the end of the year, this is a team that's going to run the football really well.
Looking at the schedule, the border war returns week 2, Kansas, Missouri, in Columbia. A lot of people may not realize the hatred between those two schools and those two states. They haven't played each other in a while. How fun is that going to be?
It is going to be a great time. I mean, I can't even tell you, when Kansas State rolled in, that was the most people I'd ever seen in Columbia. From what I've heard, talking to some friends and people I know, it sounds like the entire Kansas City metro area is going to head down to I-70 and make their way to Columbia. I mean, it is going to be a zoo. And obviously, Leopold's done a good job with that program. You got Jalen Daniels coming back at quarterback. A lot of question marks in terms of how many guys they brought in via the portal. But that game, just from an atmosphere perspective, is going to be off the charts. We've obviously gotten a taste of it on the basketball side, but this will be the first time they've played since Missouri left the Big 12, and I'm sure it is going to be a heated affair and a lot of fun.
Last thing for me, we talked a ton about the SEC as a whole and about the quarterbacks, right? The unproven quarterbacks. Missouri is one of those teams that, they may be in the top half. Who knows where they finish in the SEC, but it's about the quarterback position. How do you look at the SEC this year, Billy, especially with, like I said, so many guys at quarterback that we haven't seen a ton of?
Yeah, I'm really intrigued, probably as much as you are, to see how these guys progress. It's funny, like when you look at the conference and you look at quarterback matchups, just to see how wildly schedules can vary. Missouri's SEC looks a lot different, for instance, from Oklahoma or South Carolina, who both have to play 5 ranked matchups in a row. I think Bo Pribula and Sam Horn are both guys that, in theory, have very high ceilings, and people have talked about that a lot. I'm a little bit worried about the floor, though. Missouri was 6-1 last year in one-score games, and you look at Brady Cook, he had 3 turnovers all of last year. He threw an interception on a 4th down and 7 against Buffalo, was strip sacked in the first game against Murray State, and threw an interception with 20 seconds left when Missouri needed to go 80 yards to score against South Carolina. Again, none of those turnovers impacted those games whatsoever. And so I'm really intrigued to see whoever the guy is that ends up being Missouri's starting quarterback. The turnovers are going to be a big key to watch, because that's something Missouri was on the right side of last year and made that record 9-3 as opposed to what could have been closer to 7-5, 6-6. So it's fun to talk all you want to about what these two guys could do at the top. I mean, if it's like Auburn with Peyton Thorne and Brett Brown last year, where they just can't stop giving the ball away, all of a sudden, those one-score games could be going the other way. So I'm personally intrigued. And Billy, I think the better quarterbacks in this league are going to be decided by just that fact: who's taking care of the football.
Billy, keep that picture up there for a second. Now to Billy Jones. Billy, lay out for us exactly what they're going to do to expand that place so you personally can have no more beers in that end zone.
Yeah, so they are keeping that rock M is a great tradition at Mizzou. If the seniors win their senior night game, they get to take a rock home with them. That is what the M is made out of, is little white rocks. So they are going to keep a little grass section right around that M. I don't know if you guys have seen games at Texas Tech. It's going to have that same idea. It's going to connect around behind that scoreboard, which is going to be elevated. And there'll be essentially levels of club seats. There'll be kind of a viewing deck at the top, and then down from there is going to be those new fancy seats you see at Tennessee games. That's going to go down to the field level, but it is going to be all the way filled in behind, so you won't quite get those picturesque views of Lot L and Lot A behind the scoreboard, but maybe it'll trap a little noise as there you can kind of get a look at that was the North End Zone project that they did a couple years ago.
Billy Derrick moving in a hurry to get that one up there. Billy Jones, former Plaster intern, thanks for taking the time to come on with us and keep me out of your resume if you want to do well.
Appreciate you making time. I'll see you, gentlemen.
Talk to you, Billy.
See you, brother.
You have a good one.
Okay, after the break, we're going to go to the phones, but we're also going to show you a picture of what the end zone that had not been completed is looking like at Vandy. I went over to their scrimmage Saturday, took a picture of it, put it on Twitter, and you would have thought that I conquered the world. Where did all these people come from? We'll show it to you next. But first, I want you all to jump in on the phone lines for whatever you want to get into. But my guess is a bunch of you are going to have opinions about what you saw with the Titans. Join us now at 615-553-0933. Again, 615-553-0933. Billy, how else do they do that?
Chat room open on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. On YouTube, it's just to the right of the screen. If you're watching there, you can type in your questions there. Also, Twitter and Facebook. Just swipe up on your phone as well, and you can fire your questions in.
Okay, so we will get to your phone calls and all that stuff next on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling. They enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Okay, we are back on this Monday afternoon. Phones are being kind of weird, but working to fix it. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't either. Okay, if you get a weird signal at first, try again.
If at first you don't succeed,
I don't know what to tell you. If you have been trying and have not gotten through, let me give out the phone number again. It is 615-553-0933.
Just very busy. We've blown up the phone lines.
Okay.
Let's try Tony in Nolensville.
Yeah, let's get him up here first. Tony, what's going on?
Good afternoon, guys. Can you hear me okay? We good?
Man.
All right, great. The Titans exhibition game the other night, George, I'm going to just put it this way, and y'all touched on it, and everything y'all said has been pretty accurate. But to me, these exhibition games is like butterscotch candy. It's one of those that you really don't like. You can tolerate it. But if that's all that's there, you'll go ahead and take it. So that's the way I think about it.
That's a good way of saying it.
Wow. Not a rousing vote of confidence for preseason, is it?
For butterscotch either.
Yeah.
And, Kelly, you touched on that Ward on that drive where he should have been picked off. That is, and I personally thought, I'm looking at that receiver, he read him all the way on his route down, and I don't think he ever took his eyes off of him. And I didn't see the defender there. But, like we've all said, it's all learning. But other than that, though, he threw some great passes. Of course, Ridley made him look good on one good diving catch that was thrown low and away a little bit. But all in all, I mean, the performance, I think it went about what everybody's expected. But, he's obviously making the connection with Ridley now, so we'll see how that goes this next week or so. gentlemen, y'all had them down there in Missouri and talk about what all they're doing. Did y'all see this past week where the Bart Starr family, the foundation, donated a commitment of $55 million to the University of Alabama to create a quarterback lab or a quarterback facility? Did you see that, Kelly?
$55 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
$55
Good
million
gracious.
for a new quarterback facility. Quarterback only, they're talking about, at Alabama.
So for 4 people on a roster, you got a $55 million building?
That's apparently what they're going to do.
Okay.
Well, they may need it if it doesn't go well.
Apparently, they're going to go after them. And I'm surprised with that announcement. You know, George, I believe it's, and Billy, you might know this a little better. I read an article this week in the paper on Nashville Christian quarterback, one of the tops in the country, named Cowboy, I think.
Jared
Cowboy
Curtis?
Collins. Do what?
You talking about Jared Curtis?
Okay, they call him Cowboy Curtis. That's it. Yes, sir.
Oh.
He's already committed to Georgia. And they were reporting that his NIL stock money or his value worth already, and he's not even there. He's in high school, Kelly, is already at $1.8 million. And I'm like, it's just, I don't know what to say about this NIL stuff anymore. It's really out there. And the reason Missouri, let's be honest, guys, and I kept waiting on y'all to touch on it, and I didn't hear you. Missouri dropped off last year, Kelly, I think for one reason. 2 years ago, they had a guy named Cody Schrader.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was a big reason they were what they were 2 years ago.
I agree with you.
He really took that team and put them on his shoulders.
I agree with you on that one. He's a good football player.
Listen, they also had a lethal combo of Brady Cook, Luther Bolden. It's about
Burden,
as good a guy. Yeah. But
right.
I called him Bolden.
Bird, yeah. Bolden.
And
then they had another receiver. I think his last name was Wheezy. They had some guys there. And that's why I know that injuries probably hurt them, but they kind of went downhill because we were thinking that they had a really good shot of making the playoffs, and it just didn't happen.
It just didn't happen. That's true. And the last thing, guys, is I happened to catch this over the weekend. It come out last week, and I missed it, but that receiver that was trying to get an extended year of eligibility, Chris Bellamy, I think that was his name at Vanderbilt. He was denied his extra year of eligibility. He was hoping to get a year in Vandy and with Pavia and all of them, but he was denied and rejected his request for his extra year. So, but I thought there was some tidbits of the little things I saw this weekend and whatnot, but I was really taken back by a $55 million Bart Starr family foundation commitment to a quarterback facility.
Wow.
There you go.
Money. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
$55 million.
That's wild. Surely they're not. What are they going to build with that? I wonder.
It's
not going to be for the quarterback. It's going to be called probably the quarterback something or another, but they'll have to put that into something.
Do we allow DBs in there?
Hey, if it's the QB room, no.
I love it. Jeff in Murfreesboro, you're up next.
How's it going, George?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. I was going to say that what he's talking about, I think, is the savings program on the. It's called the Savings Center for something to do with education. So I don't know about no quarterback facility, but it's supposed to be educational based or something. They broke ground.
Apparently a different deal.
I don't know. I haven't seen nothing about that. I'm sure they don't really need it. Whatever they do, I guess. I don't know. That's what I saw, was that they put so much money into it, and this other people have, and and stuff. So I don't know, but I was, of course, I didn't watch the game, so I don't preseason as bad as Eastern as I'd rather. I know. Do you know who Sandra Lee is, George?
Sandra Lee?
Is that the doctor? Do you know who he is, Billy? You know who Dr. Sandra Lee is?
I've heard of that name. Yeah.
You know who he is? I don't Kelly can't hear me, Kelly, but you see Dr. Pimple Popper. I just soon watch that, or Stuck, or something like that while I watch the NFL preseason game. I just soon talk about Lottos and Cyst, and that's just my part. But I usually don't watch a lot of preseason stuff. No, the high school season starts in a couple weeks. I was a scrimmage Friday night, so I'm just going to start in a couple weeks, and it'll get here when it gets here. But there's two things, George, here several years ago. One of them happened about 5-6 years ago in Nashville. Another one about 15 years ago. One of the FM stations in town. I was rolling one day in Murfreesboro, and it was towards the season. And this guy said his actual comment was this. He said, when college football ends, I go through withdrawals. When college basketball ends, it don't affect me. That's what he said. So I pretty much, I clicked the channel and I turned around and I put something out. And another guy, about 5-6 years ago, the basketball season had started. It was there's a Champions Classic and played the first day. And so this guy comes on and he says, his basically comment was, "Stop the nonsense. I'm not ready for basketball again." So he wanted basketball to begin Thanksgiving week. Okay, Mark Pope, I know they're going to go to 32 games next year in basketball. Of course, it's never going to happen. But Mark Pope wants a 40-game regular season in college basketball. That's what he wants. And Kentucky just added 3 non-conference games. They're supposed to open up with Louisville. They ain't going to do it now. So I don't know how many games they got. Of course, they got to play 18 or whatever it is, SEC games. But, that stuff right there, George, those two things right there is why football I don't like. I don't like the talking season. I don't care about who's going to do what. I could care less. Play some games and let's go. And there don't be you analyze the preseason like it's some Super Bowl. It's an NCG. A 70-yard field goal doesn't count. I don't care if you kick it from 700 yards. You kick it from I don't care if you kick it from New Orleans or Texas and hit it. It doesn't count. All these stats don't count. Saturday night, 5 or 6 are a big deal. 2 series. I'd play him half a series and sit him in there. I wouldn't even play him. Aaron Rodgers don't play no preseason games. He's a Hall of Famer. He don't need to play none. I mean, what's the big deal? I mean, I know you love football, though, so I'll just hang up and listen to what you think of those two people saying that on national radio stations and see what y'all think of that. I'll hang up. Thank you. Have a good week, George. Thank you.
Well, first of all, if you don't like the fact that we're talking some preseason football, I'm not aware that anybody is forcing you to listen. How's that for an answer?
Yeah, I mean, what are we gonna talk about? The Braves?
Well,
bullpen.
First of all, we try really hard on this show to talk a little bit of everything. In basketball season, we bring Ron Bargatze, we bring Lee Fowler, we bring Taylor Barnett. We try very hard to do the right things. But there are times in August where what the hell else do you have to talk about? Again, Jeff, I'm going to say it. Nobody's forcing you to listen. And if you don't listen, first of all, our show's going to continue, whether you're here or not. Thank you.
What did he say, George? I couldn't hear him.
Oh, doesn't like that we talk preseason football. Doesn't like anything about anything.
Yeah, but most people do. They want to hear about what's going on with the Titans. I mean, that's the team in the city along with the Nashville Predators. So you have to, when it's in season, even though it's preseason, you got to talk about it.
Here would be the other thing. Okay. Get a little seat time. Get your own show. You got all these ideas. You've got all these theories. You've got all this. We talk too much. We don't talk enough. Get your own damn show.
I say you get his number, George, and have him text you a legal pad thing of what he wants to talk about every day.
Today's legal pad is
Yes.
dead.
That is awesome. Get it at 7 o'clock in the morning sometimes, 8:30, 9:15.
Whatever. Let's go to Josh and Franklin. Josh, are you there?
Hey, guys, I'm here.
Good.
I don't want to make any confrontation here. I just want to talk a little college football.
Let's do it.
All right, so Vandy will be hosting Missouri, as you guys were talking about Missouri earlier, on Saturday, October 25th. I want to know how you think that game will go down.
Well, you tell me if there's a healthy Diego Pavia.
We're assuming both squads are healthy and ready to roll.
It's a big assumption, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, who's Missouri's quarterback, and how's he performing? I mean, Sam Horn hasn't played a ton of football, but like Billy said, he's got something to him. And Perdula, we saw him a little bit at Penn State, but what's Missouri's quarterback situation? They'll be good. They'll be good up front on defense. It's in Nashville. I don't know if that matters a ton, but Vandy should have beat them last year. I mean, that's a team that you compare Vanderbilt last year to how they matched up with Texas and Alabama. Those are tough, and Tennessee and Carolina. But Vandy matches up better with a team like Missouri. Not that they have more talent, but they can beat Missouri this year.
Kelly, it was one thing when they beat Virginia Tech here, but what I think really got people's attention was when they went to Columbia and took Missouri to overtime. They had a 57-yard field goal at the buzzer.
Yeah, no,
OT.
There's so many uncertainties. Billy just alluded to it. There's so many uncertainties at quarterback, but is there a more important player in the Southeastern Conference for his team than Diego Pavia? I would say not.
No.
So if he's not healthy, where do they go?
Well, okay, that ultimately will be a question, let's say, a year from now that they've really got to settle. Because they will have had 2 years of Pavia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do they have a year from now?
Yeah.
Because it better be of some level of quality. Right. Otherwise, you're kind of sitting there going, what have you been doing for 2 years?
Well, if you're a mobile quarterback around the country that, it doesn't have to be the exact same as Pavia, but you look at what he did in that offense, I wouldn't hate to play there if you're a guy, and maybe there's another Pavia-like player out there that can come in and do some of the same things. You've got a track record now with this offense, and I don't think it's as much of a because look, before Kill and Beck got here, what was Vandy doing on offense that
they were running that stupid Joey Lynch offense?
Yeah. So and
if you can tell me what that was. Good for you.
And that didn't draw anybody to Vanderbilt. They've got a system in place now that they won a bowl game with. They won 7 games with. Now, it's Pavia. And is there another guy as tough as Pavia to run it?
Okay. Is next year's quarterback on their roster today?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's one of the things, though, that when you're running this type of offense, it takes a little bit to learn it. Pavia was able to learn it when he was at another school. But you have to, it's different from what most people run nowadays. And you got to go out and find that guy, just like Navy and Army have to go out and find these running quarterbacks. You have to find a guy that fits this offense, which is every offense, but it's not like these spread offenses that everybody's running anymore. It's this wishbone stuff, not wishbone stuff, but it's this option stuff from the gun. And that's sometimes not easy to learn.
Yeah. These deep. You saw Alabama last year, like you talked about, Kelly. They were like deer in the headlights going up against that offense. And some other, late in the season. That's what I'm interested in. Did they get caught onto, or were they more banged up? Were they more?
Or is it a little bit of both?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. That's what I'm looking at.
Josh, I got to run. It's still a few months away. Let's hope you're right about one thing, that everybody involved is healthy. Even though it's probably not going to happen. Thanks, Josh. Let's go to the break. I want to ask Clay in Nashville, Bob in Antioch to hang on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
Hello, I got places to be. Like me next to you, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me. Hello, I got places to be.
Here's Officer Darren Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join mnpd.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
I want to define teams by singular performances.
Sports. Did he not go back into the game after that interception?
Let's get this turned around. And we're all saying, no, they don't.
Here.
You thought you were on your way.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, 4:41 it is. Let's take another batch of your phone calls. Got room for you as well at 615-553-0933. Let's start with Clay on line 2. Clay, welcome.
Hey, guys. Right off the top, I have a couple things that I'm actually jerking your chain and Billy's chain when I say this to my friend, Mr. Holcomb. Kelly, you there?
Well, I'm here, Clay. I know where you're going. So hit me with it, big dog. Let's go.
Well, you know, they had a Pop-A-Shot contest, and I chickened out, quite frankly. I used to be good back in the day, but I chose not to play. But Billy was pretty good. I sat there and watched him. But the interesting thing was both George and Billy bailed, you know. I'd say, I don't know, third quarter. I don't remember when you guys left, but I stayed to the bitter end. But, you know, honestly, I thought Cam Ward in his time in the game did okay. We're just kind of maybe starting from ground zero. You know, the Titans are what they are right now. But I didn't think it was a terrible performance by him. But, by the way, George, I liked your response to two callers ago. I mean, I totally agree with what you said, and I'll just leave it at that. But I wanted to really hammer on something about Vanderbilt, though. And I guess I'm addressing this more to Billy and George, but I don't know if I've said this on this show, but I think Candace Story was the right person to be the AD at Vanderbilt, because Vanderbilt, after all, is different. A private school playing against 15 other state schools. So that makes it a totally different thing. But I think Vanderbilt and Clark Lee, Mark Byington, and Tim Corbin have the three best collection of coaches in those three major sports that maybe they've ever had. And I would like to see Vanderbilt, for instance, in football, and I agree with what y'all say. If Diego says healthy and all that, the ifs and all that. But I want the program to be able to get to a place where we're not having to say that. And in saying that, I saw a 52-minute interview through YouTube with Clark Lee. And more when I hear this guy speak and the way he, talks about the program and what he wants to do and things like that, this guy is really impressive. And I think with them, stepping up the NIL, maybe it's late, and, remodeling of the stadium and all that, I do think it's possible. I mean, it's hard to win in the SEC, especially for Vanderbilt, because it's the best conference in America. But I care enough about the program that I'd really like to see this program get to a point where if Vanderbilt, for instance, if Vanderbilt fans, me included, if Vanderbilt could just make a bowl game every year or most every year, we would be happy with that. And I think Clark can do that. As far as where it goes after Pavia, I'm going to throw y'all a little wrinkle here. Mr. McIntyre up there at Tennessee, if he doesn't win the job, I do know this, his dad played at Vanderbilt, right? I think he was a defensive back. And his father coached here. His grandfather. So if he gets a little disgruntled, which I hope he does at the UT, maybe he'd come through to Vanderbilt, in the portal. Maybe that's your answer as far as the future. I don't know. I haven't seen the kid play, but I've heard a lot of good things about him.
I don't think he fits what they want to do on offense.
No.
He's a long, lanky guy, and I think he's got a future there at Tennessee as a guy that looks like Hendon Hooker and maybe not Milton yet, but definitely Nico last year. So I don't think they'll be going after McIntyre.
Well, let me ask you this question: when you say, okay, this is how they intend to operate, right? Or what was the wording you used?
He doesn't fit what they want to do on offense.
What they want to do on offense. Okay. But until Diego Pavia got there, this all changed because of Pavia.
Right. But now
but they brought the offense with him.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the offense that they wanted to run. And it's like George McIntyre does not look like a runner to me. He's a typical, drop back passer, which I don't think that's what Vanderbilt wants at their quarterback. That's not what Diego Pavia is. He can run that option deal. And I just don't think George McIntyre would fit that situation. Now, it may change. And if they were to get him, they might have to change with it.
Vandy Dandy.
Hey, Billy, you probably deal with Clark, maybe as much as anybody, as far as, the work you do with press conferences, things like that. What's your take? I'm just really impressed with the guy on his vision on what he wants to do with this program. Again, it's going to be hard, but I just wondered, how you feel about him, as the leader and what he's trying to do.
I've said it a lot. I thought from the beginning that Clark, he had a vision. And, in year 2, they went 5-7 and had a couple of wins over Florida and Kentucky. And the thought was that they've got it turned around. They figured things out. Then they fall off a cliff in year 3, and he changes everything. He looks at that New Mexico State win over Auburn. The week after, Auburn throttled them and said, I want that. I want Pavia and that offense and that approach. And they got it. And that wasn't easy to do. Jerry Kill had to commit to come. Pavia had to commit to come over. Beck as well, and Stowers and all those guys. So I don't think Clark gets enough credit for doing that. This year is important, though, to continue to keep it rolling as opposed to falling back off a cliff. Because last time they had expectations, we talked all about it, George. Going into year 3, there was some excitement.
Yeah.
Well, they absolutely fell off a cliff. So can they keep it where they're at right now?
Clay, let me ask you this. Do you think that they can get to the point where you want them to be?
Did he hear me? We lose him?
Think we lost Clay.
Might have.
Oh, well, dang.
Well, let me try it this way. How many Diego Pavia types, Kelly, are out there on the market?
See, I'm not. Every young kid nowadays, George, wants to get in this spread offense, this deal where they throw the ball every time. It's not like an option read deal. Here's the deal. I've had my college coach tell me if he was coaching high school football and you just wanted to win games and you didn't care what it looked like, he would run the veer. And it's hard to stop. Like stuff like that is hard to stop. You can sit here and practice all week, but if it's the one time that you have to stop this stuff, you have to be so fundamentally sound, and you have to take the guy you're supposed to take, and you can't bite on certain stuff, and that's hard for defense. And I think that's what Clark Lee. That was kind of genius on his part to go look and say how did New Mexico State beat Auburn, and then start in depth detail looking at their offense and say, hey. That right there is hard to stop, and it's kind of like the Army and Navies of the world who used to have Roger Staubach on their team back in the day who threw the ball all over the place, but now in order for them to compete, they have to do something different, and maybe and he did it last year. Maybe that's what Vanderbilt and Clark Lee want, something that is going to give them the opportunity to compete at the highest level in the hardest conference. I think he was genius in doing that.
Clay, if you're there, give me one last comment, and then we'll go to the next call.
No, I'm not.
Okay, let's go Bob in Antioch. Bob, you were next up on 94.9 The Fan.
To echo what the previous caller said, I'd like to add, Shay Ralph is as good a women's coach as there is in the I think. Really all of Vanderbilt's coaches. My question to you guys is, realistically, how many games do you think Vandy can win this year, and what are one or two key games that you think?
Well, a little spotty there, but
yeah.
I think we got. Did you get the question?
Yeah.
The games realistically, I know they lost to Georgia State, but that's a game they should win. Utah State, Charleston Southern. You've got 3 on the board there that you should win. After that, at Virginia Tech week 2, I think is winnable. That's going to be tough, but I think it's winnable. At South Carolina, they haven't won since 2007. That's a tough one to bet on. LSU, Missouri, Alabama, Texas. Auburn, I think, is winnable at home. Auburn will be better. Kentucky at home, I think, is definitely winnable. They might be favored there. At Tennessee, I think is winnable. I know we've disagreed on that, but I think there's 3 games that you should win. There's 2 to 3 that you've got a chance at winning. And then after that, I'm sure there's people out there who think there's more, but
I would take 6-6 and never play.
That's not being very competitive, George. Come on now.
It isn't being. It's a chicken bleep kind of answer.
That's right.
But here's the thing, Kelly. First of all, while I think Pavia's bravado has really helped them internally, he has done them no favors with some of the stuff that he's been popping off on.
Yeah.
And rather than letting a sleeping dog lie, I mean, this stuff's going to end up on people's bulletin boards. And for the life of me, I don't understand why Clark Lee hadn't put a stop to it.
Well, I think the best compliment you can give to a football player is he's a bona fide football player. He just makes plays. He's a player. But, I just wish, and I've said it before, we said it talking to Tony last week, I just wish he would keep it on the field. You can say a few things. I know Tony Basilio and Billy likes all his bravado, and I get all that. I understand that. But, at some point, you got to quit that, and you got to play on the field. And like I said, it makes expectations about what you're doing. It puts so much pressure on you when you've talked smack to everybody. Now, you not only are playing at Vanderbilt, but now you got to go live up to what you're talking. That's hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've said my case on this. We're on opposite sides of the spectrum here.
What is your case?
I just think they've got a track record. They return pretty much everybody that contributed last year. And, at Virginia Tech's not as good as they were last year. South Carolina, they finally catch them early in a season. I'm not saying they're going to win that game. I think it's different. NIL has leveled the playing field, and Vanderbilt is a competitor now. Not that
Hey, I want to ask y'all a question. Have they've gone to 105 scholarships, correct?
I think you're right on that.
Because you don't have to do that in college, but like I can remember, and that's why I'm bringing this up. I can remember when Doring went, and he used to come down here and do games on the radio or on TV, and he would tell me, he said that's the craziest practice I've ever been to, because Vanderbilt has to do it like a pro practice. Like you have to service each other. Like the defense has to serve the offense, because you don't have walk-ons at Vanderbilt, because it's so expensive to go to school there, so nobody wants to walk on, and you don't have the people, say, that the Alabamas do or the Tennessees that have walk-ons, but it doesn't cost as much to go to school there. So I'm thinking if you got 105 and you're paying 105 scholarships, that's going to even the playing field as well for Vanderbilt.
Whatever the case, we go to the break, and Kelly, you know what's coming.
Yeah. How have you done, George?
I've sucked.
Are you below 500 now? I guess we'll see.
I am. We'll find out next on 94.9 The Fan.
Nice.
Make your Yellowstone area vacation unforgettable at the Buffalo Bills Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 family-friendly museums packed with wildlife, art, culture, and authentic Western experiences. Plan your adventure now at centerofthewest.org.
This summer, the Legends of the West invite you to the Buffalo Bills Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums come alive with timeless Western art, heroic tales, and native cultures. Experience live birds of prey, crackling chuck wagon dinners, and behind-the-scenes adventures. Just 50 miles from Yellowstone's East Gate, our doors open wide to explorers young and old. 1 ticket grants you 2 days, enough time to let curiosity lead the way. Visit centerofthewest.org.
Start your engines. Nashville's biggest racing weekend is back. It's the Porchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix, August 30th and 31st at Nashville Super Speedway. The speed, the sound, the stars of open wheel racing are all going full throttle, and you can catch every second of the action right here on 102.5 The Game. Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Racing takes over Music City. Don't miss a lap. Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9 The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Final segment on a Monday. Time now for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. We take a look at what happened over the weekend with those bets. Not a great weekend.
What do you mean not a great
It
weekend?
looked like a great weekend.
Wait, hold on. Why'd you say bad?
I don't know, but why did you say it when you saw the two win?
I didn't see it yet. I was going off what you just said 5 minutes ago.
You can't believe everything you hear from me.
No, we know that.
So it looks to me like I went 2-0 this weekend. So, Kelly, it was an outstanding weekend.
Outstanding weekend. You didn't even know.
No, I didn't.
Do you pay attention to these?
Well, I didn't this time. It's a very good question. Here we go. I don't do this very often, but tonight I am going with a big live dog. Houston has been red hot in recent weeks out there in the American League West. Boston, however, is pitching Garrett Crochet, one of the best lefties in all of baseball. But you know what, Kelly? Screw it. We're going Astros. Big dog. Take them.
Okay. Good luck.
As
usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you really care.
You don't even know, though. You're supposed to be making money for the people, and you don't even know who you've got.
Well,
what are we doing?
The people are very happy with me.
Every minute that we're on, it's becoming more and more of a gym shoe operation.
Thank you. Thank you for your confidence. We get out of Jim Shoe tomorrow because Tony Basilio will join us from Knoxville, and then we'll have a guest at 4 o'clock, and then we'll open up the phones for more riveting repartee.
See you.
Repartee.
Yeah. Behave, Billy.
You too.
Spell it, Billy.
See you tomorrow.